It has been a while that companies worldwide have started adding remote work as a possibility for its employees. For current employees, it means that they take less time off work because they get to attend to personal matters on their work from home day. While for potential employees, it means that they have a larger pool of candidates that they get to pick from. Having the possibility to work from home full-time, people no longer have to relocate for a new job. It comes along with other opportunities as well. For example, people get to work with companies that aren't even in the same time zone. They have flexible working hours. It could be a good financial decision because they can get paid a good salary while living in a small town that is cheaper. They cut back on the time that they would otherwise waste on commute, and so on and so forth. While some people, all that they see is this list of advantages of working from home, I know my youngest sister is definitely 100% one of these people. Others, mostly extroverts, might have a hard time when faced with the challenges of working from home. Yes, you have fewer distractions because you are not working in an office with other people, but at the same time, not working with other people could make you feel isolated and disconnected from the world. Yes, you get to decide what hours of the day you get to work, for those that do have the possibility to, but at the same time, if mismanaged, your productivity could drop, or you could lose track of where your work ends and your personal life begins. Today, I want to share 6 tips that I have found to be vital when working from home. The thing with telecommuting is that we want and need to either keep our productivity up or even improve it. In 2013, a Stanford University staff of professors conducted an experiment at a Chinese travel agency called Ctrip. The CEO of the company wanted to extend the work from home option to his employees because office space in the company's headquarters was very expensive and because employees had long commutes. But he was worried whether this would have a negative impact on their productivity. The experiment had 500 of the employees of the company divided into 2 groups. One control group who continued working at the company's headquarters and another group that would work from home for a duration of 9 months. They tracked both groups for 2 years. What they found at the end was an increase of performance from the group that was working from home. The reasons for this result were 2. One, the people working from home were really working their full shift, while those working in the office would sometimes get to work late or would leave early. And 2, those working from home said it was easier for them to work from home because of fewer distractions. Other more recent surveys and studies have shown that indeed productivity increases when working from home. When I was doing my research on this, I came upon one article that had a long list of tips for working from home. The final item was get a good coffee machine. While I love a good coffee to start the day, I want to focus on the basic, most essential tips that could potentially change your experience of teleworking altogether. So this list of 6 tips is of course not exhaustive. Feel free to come up with your own tricks when working from home. Let's start. 1. Set up and keep a dedicated office space. If possible, keep a separate desktop or laptop for work and for personal work. Or if that is not a possibility, then create a separate user account for work. Use one specific space in the house only when working. A proper desk with access to natural light, possibly with an external monitor and keyboard and mouse. Then when you want to switch off, unplug your computer from the external equipment. When sharing the office space with someone else or when somebody else in the household is working from home, then set some ground rules for noise or lunch hours or even for taking breaks. 2. Commit to regular working hours. Now, this depends on the flexibility of your job. If you're working remotely with a company whose working hours are 9 to 5, then you might want to stick to the same schedule. If that is not the case, and you just have to put in 7 or 8 hours of work every day, Then you can decide on the working hours that you prefer. Maybe you're more productive in the afternoon and evening, or maybe you're an early bird and prefer starting work very early in the day. I want to stress this for entrepreneurs and freelancers. If your intention is to get a specific amount of work done in one day, then you can take advantage of the time of day when you're more productive, and this way you can do the same amount of work in fewer hours. Sometimes, especially because of distractions, we find ourselves spending an entire day working when the work that we've actually done, we did it only in a few hours. In other cases, when you have to arrange with colleagues or supervisors, then you might have to change your working hours. When that happens, example, you have to wake up earlier for a meeting with a colleague who lives in a different time zone, that's okay. It means you're starting the working day earlier, but be mindful to also finish the day earlier. Sometimes what happens is that we start the day earlier, and then towards the end of the day, we get wrapped up in work and we forget that because we started the working day 1 hour earlier, we also get to finish 1 hour earlier than usual. 3. Use triggers to signal you that it is time to start working and finish working. Prior to the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, I was going to the office every day. My routine was wake up, eat breakfast, get dressed, then leave for work. The moment I reached work, I would either have coffee with my colleagues or by myself in front of my computer as I was warming up for the working day. Once the pandemic hit, I had a hard time getting used to wake up, eat breakfast, start working. So I started changing my morning routine, thinking I could trick my brain into thinking that it is now time for work. Because when I was working at the office, I was always wearing something that was not sweatpants or pajamas. I started wearing clothes that I would wear for a normal day at work at the office. At one point, I noticed that I also preferred putting on shoes before starting work. Then I would make coffee to either have with my family or before starting work, or I would take my cup of coffee with me in front of my computer. It absolutely worked. On the other hand, there should be some triggers to signal the end of the working day as well. My routine is I always switch off my desktop and then immediately change clothes into workout clothes if I'm going for a run or for a workout session, or into comfortable clothes to just hang out at home. That is the moment I know that the working day is done for me. 4. Change your routine. When working from home, one significant disadvantage is the feeling of isolation and disconnection from the outside world. In order to alleviate that feeling, try to change your routine once in a while. Decide to, for example, go work in a coffee shop once a week. And for those who really dislike working by themselves, you can also go to a co-working space. 5. Schedule breaks during the day. Studies have shown that people working from home are more productive because they don't take enough breaks during the day, and the breaks that they do take are too short. You can use applications to schedule, say, 1 5-minute break every hour, or go for longer and less frequent breaks. Especially for computer-based work, it is necessary to keep moving during the day in order to avoid a sedentary lifestyle. Once you schedule breaks during the entire day, be sure to take them in their entirety. Do not cut them short. If you schedule 1 hour for your lunch break and you finish in 30 minutes, then do something else for the remaining 30 minutes. Go for a walk, watch something on TV. What I sometimes do is, because winter days are generally rainy and shorter, I sometimes decide to go for a run during the working day to take advantage of lack of rain, slightly higher temperatures. This is another important advantage of working from home, because sometimes the only time you can take care of personal matters is during working hours, and working out during the day to then go back to work is a huge energy and productivity booster. Schedule during the day for breaks to call a family member, a friend, or a colleague, or to just chat with your colleagues in the messaging app of your choice. And 6, minimize distractions. In one way, there are fewer distractions than at the office. Less noise, there is no chance that different colleagues keep coming to your desk for one thing or another. But a few other distractions can be more prominent when working from home. Take as an example surfing the web or social media. You open Facebook on a new tab and you start scrolling, 1 hour has passed and you're still on there. We have all done it. In order to avoid this, sign out or at least close all tabs of social media and the tabs that are not related to work. When they're open, you get notifications and it is very easy to get distracted. We do this when working in the office too, but it's always more limited, either because we feel guilty scrolling the web while our colleagues are deep in work, or just because it's the environment itself that somehow enforces work. Keep your phone slightly away from you. I have noticed that when I keep my phone right in front of me, just next to the monitor, I reach for it very frequently. So now what I do is I put it so that it's out of my sight. Furthermore, you could also schedule to do this during your breaks. This is it for this week's video. I hope these 6 tips help in working better from home, and I will see you guys next week.